Hi, my name is Jen. I'm a graduate student at uOttawa and am writing a thesis. Let me share a few things with you that you should know about copyright as it relates to writing a thesis. If there's copyright protected material in your thesis, it is your responsibility to ensure that your use either complies with the Canadian Copyright Act or that documented permission has been obtained. Simply follow the guidelines provided by Library and Archives Canada. The university cannot offer you legal advice as to whether or not copyright permission is required. It's really important to take into account both copyright and plagiarism when writing your thesis, as these are two similar but different concepts. Copyright infringement is the reproduction or distribution of someone else's work without permission, if the use of the work doesn't fall under the exceptions included in the Copyright Act. It is a legal offense that can be taken to court. Plagiarism, on the other hand, is the use of someone else's work without proper attribution to the author. To avoid this ethical offense, it is important to always cite the source of all your materials. For more information on plagiarism and referencing, please contact the Academic Writing Help Center. Improper use of a work may be considered both copyright infringement and plagiarism, or only one of the two. If you have to make some permission requests, please note that some requests may take more time to process than others. Allow yourself plenty of time when making permission requests in order to ensure you will receive the required copyright permissions before your deadlines. If you're working collaboratively or co-authoring your thesis, each author or participant should be included in your request for permission or license to use copyright-protected materials. Now, let's talk about fair dealing. Fair dealing is an important exception and user right in the Canadian Copyright Act that allows the reproduction of copyright-protected content without the permission of the copyright holder, when it is used for one of the following purposes: research, private study, criticism, review, news reporting, education, satire, or parody. Under fair dealing, the concept of research does not generally extend to using copyright-protected material in your thesis. However, if you are explicitly critiquing or reviewing the material in your thesis, the criticism or review exception may apply to you. But if you're simply using the copyright-protected material as an example or to illustrate a point, it might be necessary to make a permission request. So let's say your use of copyright-protected material is not covered under fair dealing, and you're unable to obtain permission. Or there's an unreasonable charge for obtaining permission. In this case, you can remove the copyright-protected material and leave a blank space. This space must contain the following: a statement that the material has been removed because of copyright restrictions, a description of the material and the information it contained, and a full citation of the original source of the material. This short summary of the material is important and provides the reader with a chance to follow your argument without looking up the original source. However, if possible, including a link to an online source is still advisable. An article-based thesis includes research articles that have been published or prepared for publication. If your article has been published or submitted for publication, you must verify the copyright and license conditions of the publisher before including the article in the final version of your thesis. While some publishers may allow you to include the published version of the article in your thesis, the majority of publishers only allow the use of a postprint version in your thesis. The postprint version is the final draft version that has been peer-reviewed but not yet formatted by the publisher. We hope this information has been helpful to you. You may visit the uOttawa Copyright Office website at www.copyright.uottawa.ca for more information, whether you have questions about copyright in general or copyright as it relates to your thesis. Good luck with your thesis and your studies.